like to start with Ben from Doorport. I'm sure that a lot of people in this room have an incredible work ethic. Ben actually wears his on his sleeve. Literally, he has a tattoo that says "work harder" on his wrist. 2 years ago, he quit his job, sat next to the property manager of his building. She must have been super weirded out. and he said, listen, I want to make building entry better. And I'm going to learn from you and code sitting here next to you, and I'm going to do it. So today, Ben is launching all of this to you. So let's please put our hands together for Ben Taylor of Doorport.
Thank you, Lila. Today, I'd like to start with a question. By a show of hands, how many of you live in a building with a doorman? Fantastic. A number of you do. And while I know that each of you probably thinks that your doorman is pretty great, today, I'm here to tell you that my doorman is the best doorman in all of New York City. And here's why. He is friendly. He is courteous. He is reliable. This guy never takes a break. He lets my friends in without a problem. And because of him, I have not once missed a package delivery. He is amazing. And what I should also tell you is that he doesn't look like any doorman you've ever met before. You see, a while back, my building, like most buildings in New York today, looked like this. And when it looked like this, I missed 3 Amazon packages in 1 month. I miss my best friend dropping by after work constantly. And I can't count the number of times that someone came by late at night, hitting all of those buttons so that someone would let them into the building. Living in an apartment shouldn't be this frustrating. And that's why I started my company. Hi, my name is Ben. I'm the founder and CEO of Doorport. And today, I'm excited to introduce to you our flagship product, Arrive, bringing security and convenience to every apartment building. We turn your smartphone into your video intercom and your building key. You see, the current state of building entry isn't just bad for residents. It's costing landlords a ton of money. Last year, they spent $4 billion installing and repairing and maintaining those legacy access and intercom systems. That's a lot of money to spend on something that your residents don't like. And modern solutions are only solving half of the problem for part of the market. Smart key systems are extremely expensive. They require specialized contractors to install them. And on top of that, they don't have any intercom functionality built in. You still need a separate old call box for letting in your visitors and guests and packages. And smart intercoms are the same story. They're more expensive than what most landlords can afford today. They also require electricians to come out and install them. And on top of that, they don't have access control built in. You still need a separate key or key card system for access to your building. Arrive is the affordable, easily installable, all-in-one solution for your building's entrance. First, the price. Arrive is $1,000 up front. That's a small fraction of any other system on the market today. And with our low per unit monthly subscription, over a 10-year period, Arrive will cost landlords less than 50% of what it would cost them to install a traditional video intercom system for any size building. Speaking of installation, we have created the first breakthrough innovation for intercom installation that has existed since intercoms have existed. If you want to install Arrive in your building, you simply download our app and using our software, scan your building's entrance. Our software will figure out the make, model, and dimensions of your current intercom system, and will ship you a matching installation kit that you can install in your building in under 1 hour. Simply take off the old system, plug in ours, and that's it. And after it's installed, residents can begin using Arrive in minutes with 2 easy steps. Step 1, install the app. And step 2, click the link we sent you to log in. And that's it. You're now using Arrive. And once you begin using Arrive, you can use your smartphone to get access to your building. And if your smartphone battery is dead, you can use our built-in card reader or a passcode to get access. And when you have a guest or a package delivery or any sort of visitor, you can greet them face-to-face and give them access from anywhere at any time. Anyone in the audience right now could be letting an Amazon package into their building. That's how convenient our system is. Now, as I mentioned, right now, we're starting with access control and intercoms. 2 problems that we are focused on solving. But for us, this is the first step towards a much larger mission, which is creating the smart building of the future. One where management is automated and residents have the best possible living experience. Arrive is our opportunity to gain a foothold in every apartment building and use that foothold to introduce other affordable, accessible technology in the future. Now, when we started the MetaProp program, we entered into a private beta with a few apartment communities here in New York to perfect the Arrive experience. And the results have been phenomenal. Residents have used their phone as their key over 1,000 times. They've let in over 2,000 guests. And here are a few of their reviews. Residents love using Arrive, and they can't imagine living in a building without it. Today is our public launch to the world. And in January alone, we secured pilots with portfolios covering over 3,400 apartment units. And by the end of this year, we're expecting to cover tens of thousands of units with Arrive. Now, what's even more exciting than that traction is the team behind it. We have a combined 2 decades of programming experience. We have built the secure, reliable backends for leaders in the healthcare space, in banking, and in media. And it's with that level of expertise that we deliver the most secure and reliable entry system on the market today. At Doorport, we believe that affordable, accessible technology is the key to the building of the future. If you'd like to experience Arrive in your building, or if you'd like to talk to us about what's next, please talk to me after this event. Thank you.
Next up, we have the most driven, focused guy I've ever met. It means sometimes he doesn't laugh at my jokes. However, he is exactly what the retail industry needs. He gives us confidence in the future of the retail industry. So let's welcome Joe to the stage.
What is the most distressed asset class in real estate today? Stole the answer. It's retail. Let's look at the numbers. 2017 holds the record for the most number of store closures in the last 20 years. Retail loan default rates soared from 1% to 5% last year. And the not so good news is that experts say that number is going to rise over 12% in 2018. Lenders and financial lenders are hurting. The owners of these distressed assets are hurting. But at the center of it all, the ones who are hurting the most are the tenants. Meet Molly. Molly is an owner-operator of a retail chain in the Midwest. She's a fashion connoisseur. She loves her product. She knows her consumers inside and out. But last year, when she entered a new market for the first time, she opened the store in a wrong location, and she shut down the store in the first 6 months and lost $2 million that she had spent getting that store up and running. The problem with Molly's location was her location. She was in the wrong neighborhood. She was on the wrong side of the street. There was just not enough demand for the product where she opened her store. There's tens of thousands of people like Molly. Retail site selection is a big problem. It's not that retailers today are incapable. It's that today they lack the right tools and technology to make data-driven decisions on where to open their stores. Hi everyone, I'm Joe. I'm the co-founder and CEO of LocateAI, and we can predict where tenants should open their stores. We've built a platform using artificial intelligence that can predict future revenue potentials for retail chains for any location across the country. Retail site selection in our space has been a huge mess up to this point. It's been mostly dominated by old school consultants who haven't really innovated in the last 20 years. They're still operating on huge Excel spreadsheet models. They'll create a huge PDF report for your national go-to-market strategy. And a lot of the times, it just doesn't work. I'll tell you a funny story. Our head of sales came from one of those consulting companies. And one of the last models that he delivered before he left, he was driving around in his car, delivering the model to one of his restaurant clients. And they were following the GPS around to find the next gold mine for their next location. They followed the model, and the model led them to open the next restaurant location on top of a graveyard. Now, I know I'm here to preach artificial intelligence, but I can tell you, I don't need any tech to tell you that that was probably not the right location for the restaurant chain. At LocateAI, our mission is to create the largest geospatial database so that we can see signals on what makes tenants successful that no one else can see. To date, we have assembled over 100,000 geospatial variables across 11 million US blocks. Some of the data sets include offline consumer behavior. So for example, as all of us here leave our homes and stop by a coffee shop on the way to work and then go to a grocery store on the way back home, we can actually follow your footsteps and actually trace where you go throughout the city. We know where consumers like to shop, where they dine, where they frequent on the weekends, where they are during the day, where they're at night, where they work, and even where they live. It's creepy, I know, but trust me, it's all anonymized, I swear. Social media data tells us consumer demands. We have data on vehicle counts. We have data on demographics, psychographics, how people vote in an area, median household income, social dynamics, the weather, anything you can imagine that might potentially impact the success of a tenant. We are collecting that information, and we apply machine learning algorithms to create predictive insights on where they should open their stores. For the tenants, it's very simple. They log into our online cloud-based system, and they can visualize the model and actually see the data behind where they should open their stores. They can zoom in and actually get revenue forecasts for any street address in the country. I'll repeat that. They can run our forecast and get any revenue potential for any street address in the country. Right, so if you open a store on Broadway and 41st, we can tell you that that revenue potential is $1.1 million, whereas Broadway and 43rd on the right side of the street is $1.8 million. Imagine if Molly had this tool, right? Instead of picking the wrong location, she could have predicted that, and she could have identified locations that would have made her $2 million a year as opposed to losing the $2 million. With a click of a button, retailers can download this report and seamlessly share this information across their organization. Since our launch, we have started working with some of the largest national tenants around the country. Some of them include Sprint, Boost Mobile, Quick Quack Car Wash, Slim Chickens, Newmark Knight Frank, and Scrubs and beyond. We've solved this problem so far for the tenants. But we believe we're today at the tip of the iceberg in terms of how our technology can impact the broader retail market. For example, earlier I talked about owners. There's a ton of owners that are hurting today. They're sitting on distressed assets. Maybe their largest anchor tenant just filed for bankruptcy and they've gone vacant. They're paying taxes on those vacancies. They're struggling to pay off their loans. The big question for a lot of owners in the next few years is going to be, what is the highest and best use of my space? We can use our technology to intelligently match the right use and the right tenants to the right space. Lenders can use our tech to figure out where to finance and refinance distressed assets. Investors and developers can identify development opportunities and identify arbitrage opportunities in terms of identifying where they should invest in distressed assets and using our technology to restabilize those assets. Brokerages can use our technology to create tech-enabled services for their clients, and the list goes on and on. Artificial intelligence is changing the retail marketplace as we now know it. And let me introduce you to the team that's behind that transformation. I'm Joe. My amazing co-founders are Peter and Steven. We have worked for some of the top technology institutions in Silicon Valley. And we have degrees in computer science and data science from Stanford University. Our team leads up here. They have over 15 years of AI experience and have operated in the retail space for over 30 years. We have formed a strategic advisory board who have invested, developed, owned, and operated thousands of retail stores across the country. The retail industry today is in distress. There's a lot of volatility, a lot of stuff going on. But that presents a very, very unique opportunity in time for LocateAI to use artificial intelligence to help the industry get back on its feet and find its way to success. Thank you.
Next, we have Fabrizio. When our team first met Fabrizio, he was still a principal at BCG, but he was really obsessed with a particular problem. And so he would come into our office and he would whiteboard out this problem. And what was really striking about Fabrizio was how compassionate he was. And of course, he paired it with like a really strong quantitative background and a lot of intellect, but it was his compassion that was just so uniquely suited to solve the problem that he was looking to address. So I'd like to welcome Fabrizio to the stage to present Irene.
Thank you, Lila. I'm going to talk about something that every single one of us in the room has in common: our parents. And the fact that, unfortunately, as they get older, we start to worry about them. By show of hands, how many have ever worried about their parents' health? Or maybe their ability to stay at home, be independent, maybe their finances? Well, look around, like this is an unfortunate reality. For me, that happened around a year ago. I fell in love with a wonderful American woman, and her parents' worries became mine, of course. They wanted to spend retirement in their home where they lived for over 20 years, but they lost their home. And they lost it because there aren't good options for older adults to access home equity without having to sell your home or once again get into debt. And that was really hard for everyone. And that felt also wrong to me because I spent a decade in retail banking around the world, and I know that better options exist. They're just not here in the United States. And I got obsessed researching the problem. 6 million senior homeowners have limited assets to count on for retirement other than the equity in their homes. 90% of them wants to age in place, but too many just can't afford it. So hundreds of thousands of them every single year end up selling their homes because even if heartbreaking, inconvenient, and expensive, they don't have better options. That's why I decided to leave my job in fintech to do something about it. Good evening, everyone. I am Fabrizio, the founder and CEO of Irene. Irene partners with older adults to help them stay in the home they love, afford the life they want, while enjoying the freedom they deserve. We do it by offering the first debt-free solution for older adults to access home equity while age in place. And the way it works, it's very simple. We let them sell their homes, but retain an irrevocable right to live in them or rent them out for the rest of their lives. We invest in the right to inherit the homes. And we provide a lump sum up front and then help them with home expenses every single year for the rest of their lives. So they can stay at home, but they can stay home safely. Just look at a simple example. Mary is a 75-year-old widow. She owns a beautiful home. She wants to stay there. But exactly like those 6 million households, she's in a tight spot financially. And she needs to access home equity. A common answer is, well, sell the home, cash in the full value, and then downsize or rent. Well, she does not want to do it. Her home is her life, and at age, it's really hard. She would be devastated losing it. I've seen it, and it's not pretty. Another answer is reverse mortgages. It's really not the best reputation out there, but she looks at them because it's the only financial product that Mary qualifies for. She could get a loan. The loan grows fast over time, but she doesn't have to pay it back until she passes away. The problem is they're complicated, they're expensive. But the worst part, especially at their age, is some of the terms that come with a reverse mortgage. She's still on the hook for taxes, insurance, and maintenance. If she misses payments, she loses her home. If she needs to step away from the home and wants to rent it out, think of a medical emergency or helping out with grandkids. She can't do it. She would also lose her home. This is really not comforting for older adults or their kids, and that's why reverse mortgages are really not that common. Many of you might be surprised, but it's only 60,000 were sold in a year. That's nothing. It's a 1% penetration. But now, things are finally about to change because now Mary can partner with Irene. With Irene, she also taps into home equity and stays at home, but she does it safely with no scary terms, and she's free from debt. Irene helps her with taxes, insurance, and she can rent if needed. This is really going from a debt with foreclosure risk to a solution that provides full peace of mind for our parents. But as exciting as what we do is how we do it, and that is technology. We leverage technology in every step of our operations, from lead generation, marketing, underwriting, appraisal, title servicing. Our underwriting model is a unique mix of actuarial, real estate, and credit risk that no other institution had to put together to date. The size of this issue, as I said, is daunting. Older adults own over $4 trillion in home equity. But just the 6 million that really need to tap into it own over 800 billion in home equity that is trapped in their house. This is a real opportunity to help 200 to 300,000 seniors to stay at home every year, which turns to be only in underwriting revenue over 2 billion opportunity. This was an idea on a napkin in June when I met MetaProp, and their pre-accelerator became a company. By October, I raised a seed round led by AI Ventures, and last week we entered our first market. And now we are really excited to be raising our first investment fund. Closing, here's a few of the things that make us excited and proud about what we do at Irene. This is a proven model. Similar solutions have been used abroad for many years. This is life-changing for our parents, for older adults. They get to stay in the home when they started the family, raise their kids, what they work their entire lives for. It's also great for investors to get access to owner-occupied residential real estate. And last, by being trusted partners for older adults and their kids, we have the opportunity to become a trusted tech platform to help them access many more services. Think of estate planning or home care. We can't change the fact that our parents are getting older. What we can do is use innovation and technology to make sure they do it with peace of mind. Thank you.
Tripti has built companies and buildings on 3 different continents. She's a rock star. At MetaProp, we are so lucky that Tripti has made her new venture in technology. We deeply believe in her vision for how artificial intelligence will transform property management. Tripti, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Leela. I really should get you to write my LinkedIn profile as well. So, true story. In the year 2000, Goldman Sachs used to employ 600 equity traders. As of last year, they've been replaced by 200 coders. 2 traders still do get to go to work there. Technology can completely change our world, and that change is coming for every industry, and real estate is no exception. Our industry is no longer the domain where we save wealth for the next generation. It is an investment class where returns are driven by performance, and much of that performance in the future will in fact come from automation. In the cities of New York and London, where cap rates are low and multiples are high, every dollar that you save in managing your properties more efficiently is an equivalent of 20 in its value. The stakes are high, yields are low, and margins have to be found. In those same 2 cities, $80 per unit per month is what is spent in property management fees. 500 million collected per month in these cities, 6 billion in property management fees from just 2 cities. So why do we spend so much on management fees? Why do service fees cost us so much? That's because we are in an industry that is stuck in the people trap. Let's start at the beginning. Let's go to the birth of a property management firm. It's usually started by a guy, let's call him Bob, and Bob is an awesome property manager because Bob can give me the highest returns. And Bob knows the field, Bob knows how much things should cost, Bob has experience, Bob is your greatest asset, but Bob is also your greatest risk. So in order to protect Bob, you add more people into the mix. People to deal with tenants, people to deal with vendors, people to process paperwork, and as that company scales, more people and more people. But people are expensive. I'm Tripti. I'm the founder of Travtus, and I do have a confession. I used to be Bob. And my journey in this industry started off as an architect. And then I worked in real estate in New York City, developed a few buildings in Mumbai, used to run my own construction company in Singapore. And like Bob, I was stuck in a people trap. I could not scale because of the people trap. Till one day it just dawned on me, experience is data. So 2 years ago, we launched our first product as Travtus with just one intent, and that intent was to collect as much data from the field as we possibly could. Data about scope of work, how long it actually takes to complete, what material is required, and today, we've collected over 300,000 work orders in our system with that information, and we can now use machine learning to start automating your property operations. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to Bob's new best friend, my new best friend. Say hello to Adam, your digital property manager. Adam can talk, he can text, he can answer questions, he can schedule, he can estimate, he can collect bids, he can even follow up with your workers in the field. He's your customer service rep, he's your dispatch agent, he is your analyst, and he works 24/7. So now that I have your attention, you're probably wondering, how does a digital property manager work? Well, Adam comes to you with the skills and the knowledge that he has already assimilated from the Travtus database. And with every day that he assists you, he gets better and gets more independent. So let's take an example. If Adam is taking a call from your tenant and he says, "Hi Adam, it seems that my sink is blocked and the water doesn't seem to go down," Adam first understands the scope of work is to unclog a sink. He then captures the information on how long that job is going to take and sends it out and matches it with the right worker, who then gets dispatched to the job while reminding him to please carry a plunger. It's really that simple. And it's this kind of insight and automation that completely separates us from any other work order solution that you have out there. Other systems may provide you the ability to go from paper to a digital format. What Adam does is he takes the next giant leap, and that is the leap towards knowledge. Also, Adam likes to share. What that really means is that he's built on a platform that communicates through REST APIs. For the non-geeks in the room like myself, that means he's easy to connect to. The image that you see now on the screen, this happens to be the largest single residential structure in America. It has 1,100 apartments, all in one singular structure, and it trusts Travtus. A building like this can generate 1,000 work orders every month. It has a team of 46 people who take care of that. And in 1 year of working with us, we were able to complete repairs and maintenance 72% faster. And now this building is getting ready for Adam. So from a pilot with 95 units in 2015, we have now scaled to 15,000 committed apartments in 2017. But 2018 is what we are so excited about. The year in which we launch Adam, we launch our AI platform. And as excited as us are 9 amazing companies who are getting ready to pilot him in March. And they represent over 100,000 units. So with all of this talk of automation, let's talk a little bit about the people. The faces that you see on the screen, this is our team that wakes up every morning with only one purpose, and that is to breathe life into Adam. This is a group and a mix of different talents. Property managers from New York and London, data scientists from Europe, a phenomenal tech team, a co-founder and a product manager who have delivered enterprise software for credit rating agencies. Ladies and gentlemen, technology is the new value-add strategy for real estate. And Adam, he will guide you there. So come say hi to Adam.
Next, we have Vince. Tripti, who we just heard from, once said that Vince is like the big brother you wish you had. He is so kind. He is so thoughtful. And he's just the best listener I've ever met. But why does that matter in a CEO? Well, he's trying to clean up one of the biggest backwaters in our industry, real estate. Also, but house flipping, a backwater where people are frequently scammed. And Vince is cleaning this up. So let's please welcome Vince to the stage.
Thanks, Dad. All right. So you guys probably recognize at least one of these logos on the screen. The thing they all have in common is that each of these companies has made billions of dollars helping people get rid of stuff that they don't want. Turns out it's hard to get rid of things you don't want, especially if it's something really big or expensive like a house. Now you may be wondering, who wants to get rid of a house? Lots of people. Now it doesn't normally look like this. It normally looks like this, right? And you're also probably wondering, how does a house get in this condition in the first place? Well, there's lots of reasons. But here's a story that we hear fairly often. When Cindy's dad passed away a couple of years ago, he left her a small rental house. And she kept paying the taxes for a while, but then the tenants moved out, and then it got vandalized, and she stopped. And she got overwhelmed, maybe a little bit embarrassed. Problem is, most realtors, they don't want that listing. And the open doors, the offer pads of the world, these companies that we hear so much about, They can't really help her either. They're not set up for these types of houses. Maybe more importantly, though, is that your average house shopper, that's not what they want either. They want something that's move-in ready. Well, this isn't exactly that. I love that joke. Nobody likes that joke like I do. Jeez Louise. All right, I'm cutting it, Aaron. I'm cutting it. So here's what she did. You're not going to believe this. She's driving one day, and she sees one of these. How many of us have seen these crappy little signs? You're at the red light, right? We buy houses. She calls the sign, and guess what? The guy bought her house. He's a house flipper, right? Problem is, she didn't know he was legit when she called him. He could just as easily have been a scam artist, and things could have gone from bad to worse. Sadly, this is the gamble that too many owners of distressed properties are willing to take to get rid of that problem house. Hi, I'm Vince Harris. I am the CEO and co-founder of Hoozip, and a year ago, we launched a platform that is rapidly revolutionizing the way that distressed homes get sold. Just for context, to give you a sense of how big a problem this is, there are 1.5 million vacant houses in this country. Shockingly, I think you'll be pretty surprised to hear this, more than 60% of them, they're owned free and clear. No mortgage at all. Well, what about all the foreclosures, right? The banks must own the rest, right? Not even close. Just a tiny fraction. That means that most of these are owned by people like Cindy, right? So what do? Well, our algorithms use consumer data and property data, tax, municipal data to find folks like Cindy or people that we predict may soon find themselves in her situation. And we connect them through the only marketplace of its kind with vetted local rehabbers, fix and flippers, landlords, the folks who buy this stuff day in and day out. And can we just talk about rehabbers for a quick second? Because to me, and I've used this analogy before, they're like little T cells, right? Going into damaged neighborhoods and finding the dilapidated houses and cleaning them up, curing them, restoring them to their highest and best use. Unfortunately, there hasn't really been much innovation in this space, and so the technology available is pretty bad, and I know that because I'm a house flipper myself. I've done 50 houses, and I can tell you what we have available to us by way of technology tools is woefully outdated. And yet, we buy an awful lot of houses. $250 billion every year is landlords and rehabbers buying homes, even with underwhelming marketing technique. Now, to be fair, there are options. You could buy into a pricey franchise and let them do your marketing for you. They'll get those signs up in the air for you. But that's going to cost you about $50,000. And you're still not going to have technology tools to help you with all the other aspects of your business as a house flipper. You know, given how big of a buying power these folks are and the value they provide to communities, we think it's high time for an upgrade. So we built it. And it's a suite of tools to help these guys in every aspect of their business, even on houses that they don't source through us. It's everything from websites to deal calculators to a mobile prospecting tool that lets you be 10 times more productive out in the field. You can stand in front of a house, and in 2 taps, I can tell you, even if it's vacant, who owns it, where they live, show you their Facebook profile. I can also tell you the liens, judgments, any bankruptcies against the property, and their relatives. Creepy, just like Joe's property, right? I know, but crazy helpful if you're out in the field looking for damaged houses. So we are really elevating this business and bringing it into the 21st century. And in the process, bringing transparency to a business that's really been operating in the shadows. In the process, we make money. We sell leads. We collect information from that seller. We gauge her readiness. We gauge the scope of the project. And we sell that lead into our network of rehabbers. If we are successful at marrying up these two sides, we get a success fee at close. And since the properties don't qualify for traditional mortgages, we can also help them with financing, and we collect a small brokering fee there. All in, it's a minimum $7,500 fee to us for making those connections. When multiplied by the 900 or so thousand vacant, free and clear houses that we talked about at the start, this is a nearly $7 billion revenue opportunity. Of course, as we also discussed, there's another 500,000 that have mortgages on them. And even that is a drop in the bucket compared to the entire stock of distressed houses in this country. And we've got a plan of attack for them too. But here's where we are so far. Since joining MetaProp, we have nearly doubled our monthly revenue. We have grown our user base by 50%. We have 6,000 rehabbers on our platform right now. Most notably, we did all of that through word of mouth. Zero has been spent on building that community. Going forward, we're really excited about 2018 because this is where we begin to focus on the seller side of that marketplace, finding more folks like Cindy and bringing that inventory online. We launched a small pilot towards the end of last year, and by June, we hope to have consummated 50 deals from our platform. This is a huge opportunity, and we're really, really excited about it. Fortunately, we have what I think, humbly, is the best combination of skills on our founding team to pull it off. As I said, I'm a house flipper, but I also spent over a decade in financial services with some of the biggest companies in the world. I've done over $1 billion in transactions. My partner and co-founder, Justin Winters, is a full-stack developer, has been building large enterprise systems for nearly 20 years. He grew a regional mortgage operation to $25 million in originations. Our advisors include, among others, the president of the largest real estate investment association in the country. We really feel like we've stacked the deck on this one, and we think the sky is the limit. If you'd like to hear more about what we're up to, please come and say hello after the event. Thanks for your time.
Ardalan literally grew up on construction sites. In a prior iteration, I may have called Ardalan a rare bird, and so our startups are now making motions to me to make that gesture again. But he is a rare bird because he is an interesting combination of both deep construction experience as well as a PhD in computer vision. And those two things combined make him uniquely equipped to solve one of the biggest issues in our industry, which is the number of senseless deaths on construction sites. So, Ardalan, would you please come up to the stage?
Thank you, Leila. I'm just blushing. Okay. So I'm going to open up with a question. With a show of hands, how many of you have ever visited a construction site or worked on a construction site? Awesome. Pretty much everyone. So on a day that you were on that job site, how many of you thought that there would be a death on that job site? 3. 3 workers a day die on a construction site here in the United States. And these are not just numbers. These are livelihoods, families being affected. And the sad reality is that more than 90% of these injuries and fatalities are preventable only if people would follow the rules. Imagine for a second, if we didn't have any law enforcement on the roads, how many more accidents, how many more losses and fatalities we would have. Some people say rules are meant to be broken. Being in the construction industry for quite a while, rules that save lives are meant to be enforced. So when you dig a little bit deeper, you'll find case studies that show a strong correlation between the frequency of inspections on a job site and the rate of injuries and fatalities. Let me give you a more tangible example. In the state of New York, from 2011 to 2015, the rate of injuries and fatalities increased by 240% to the total of 435 in 1 year. When they look back at the numbers, you'll notice one of the major contributing factors was a 27% drop in the number of safety inspections by Occupation Safety and Health Administration. This is just sad. But also, let's get real. This is real estate, and at the end of the day, money talks. These unenforced safety rules and safety issues and injuries and fatalities lead to over $11 billion a year in safety-related insurance claims. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ardalan, and I'm the CEO of OnsiteIQ. Our company was created to prevent these injuries, fatalities, and significantly reduce insurance claims and premiums on construction projects. So let's take a look at the current practice, right? You get a third-party safety inspector who comes to your job site once every couple of months with a pen and paper, walks through, and checks off a bunch of boxes, right? You get a report at the end. And then if you're really sophisticated, you also have a photographer who comes and takes a bunch of photos, puts them in a folder, and hands it over to you. What did I just do? I took a bunch of photos, and I pulled a bunch of reports. Is it better than not doing anything? Of course. But is it frequent enough, or is it effective enough? The answer is no. There's tech for this. So being for quite a while in this industry, if you want to take control of your job site, you need to document, you need to inspect, and also you need to assess the risk that you're taking. Let's say there's a guardrail missing on a job site. You have to take a photo, you have to know when it has happened, where it has happened, and who's responsible for it. And then, what are the odds that someone actually gets hurt if we don't fix the issue? These 3 steps will enable you to take action. And when you look at the industry, there are companies who come and take photos on a job site and hands it over to you in a Dropbox folder or something like that. And then you get inspection firms who come and inspect your site and give you a report. And you got insurance companies who assess the risk that you're taking on a project every 2 to 3 years. OnsiteIQ is the go-to service for all 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 21st century safety inspection. Our artificial intelligence platform not only automatically analyzes the data that we capture on your site and identifies different safety issues and hazards, but also it enables any stakeholder from any location to log into the platform and virtually walk the site and do their own inspection. Let's say you can get access to this platform. Your banker or lender, your construction manager, your general contractor, and these are just a few examples. And our software automatically finds the photos that belong to the same location and enables you to time travel. So pretty much like a flip book, you can stand at a point, go back and say, what was the site condition 3 months ago at this point? And of course, it's geo-localized so that you don't have to go through that folder with thousands of photos and look for the one photo that maybe you took 8 months ago and you're not even sure about it. And the most important part, actionable insight. You can see the trends of safety and quality issues on your job site. You remember that guardrail that was missing? How many times that has happened in your job site? Where has it happened and when has it happened? Right? If a safety condition on one of your job sites off the chart, you'll get a notification. You can log into the platform and see what's happening. You can pick up the phone, call the superintendent, and ask them to fix the issue before someone gets hurt on that job site. It enables you to take action. So we're a service company. Our network of data collectors go to our client's site at least twice a month with a 360-degree camera. They walk the site and scan the entire site. Our software automatically maps the walkthrough paths to the floor plan and enables all the stakeholders to virtually inspect the site. That's what we call geolocalized documentation. Then our artificial intelligence platform goes through the data, identifies different safety issues, and we enable you to see the trends, see the issues, make decisions, and take action. We have a monthly subscription model based on the different tiers of service that we provide. And we're targeting building construction projects that are larger than 3-story right now. Only with the visual documentation service that we provide and building construction sector, we're looking at around $360 million a year in potential revenue. If we include other services and expand beyond building construction vertical, we're looking at a $14 billion market size, and globally we're looking at $56 billion. So OnsiteIQ was born in February 2017. We launched our first pilot in May, and after joining MetaProp, we launched our 5th pilot in November, collected 3.5 million square feet, and we just signed our first contract with a major developer in New York. But what's more exciting is that we partnered up with 2 major insurance companies to help them and their clients to quantify and control the risk on their projects. Last but not least, the team. I'm a civil engineer. I grew up in a construction family, and I happen to have a computer vision background. My amazing co-founder and CTO, he's a computer vision guru. He has worked at SRI for more than 10 years, and he was a tech lead on a team who built the equivalent of Google Earth for the military. That's why we have such an amazing technology. And on top of that, we have a very strong technical team with deep construction knowledge. We're also very proud to have Cornell Tech, Jacobs Institute, National Science Foundation, and MetaProp as our investors and advisors. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make construction sites safer with OnsiteIQ. Thank you so much.
Jalma is one of the most creative guys we know at MetaProp. He is obsessed with cities and how cities are going to look in 100 years, but he also is an engineer. He likes to build things. And what he's built for the future of cities is something that we think is really pretty cool. So Jalma, we'd like to welcome you to the stage.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for a guy from Barcelona being here in New York. It's a great city. It's a great people. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I just would like to start with this very simple question. What if you are sitting on a gold mine and you don't know it? I'm sure you know about that. Every city in the world, any government in the world is requiring to provide few parking spots per each building you do. And I'm going to talk about the biggest opportunity about the gold mine, private and unattended garages. I'm from Barcelona, city where I come from. The municipality obliges you to provide 1.5 parking spots per each new residential building. I'm sure that you may say mathematics. If I build 10 apartments, I must provide 15 parking spots on that building. That is increasing my building cost between 15 to 25%. But the drama is coming when the most of the residents do not have a car. In Barcelona, the city where I come from, only 1 of each 3 inhabitants is owning a car. And I'm sure that you as New Yorkers, you know that better than anybody else. Very few people is owning a car in town nowadays. So what do we do with the remaining spots? We have the answer. I am Jaume Mayor, CEO and founder of WeSmartPark, the Airbnb of parkings. So I'm sure now you are thinking, but there are plenty of companies that are solving this issue. Those guys, Icon, SP+, Rapid Parking, they have been solving this for decades. But they are only working with big garages, and that's the problem. You may say there are also a lot of apps that are solving this issue, Spot Hero, Parking Panda, Parkwiz, great apps, sure, but they do not have the technology to manage private and unattended garages. And that's a problem. You know that's a problem? Because private and unattended garages are the majority of the market. In only 6 CBs from Brooklyn, we have found more than 7,500 spots free, spread in 185 buildings. And now I will give you just an example about for who this is a real problem. This guy is a friend of mine. This guy is Juan. Juan works for Núñez Navarro. Núñez Navarro is the biggest property developer in Barcelona. Those guys are owning 1,800 spots free. So what do they do? They are looking for external clients, and here is how they do it. The first thing they do, they need to make marketing actions. They need a salesman to deal with people who is coming from those marketing actions. They need to deliver 1 key per each spot they rent. They need to make the accounting. And they have to install blockers in the spots they did not rent. And since it's easy to remove it, to avoid illegal parkers, they need somebody to supervise it. And you know why they are doing this? Why they are doing all this job? Because the value of those spots is 270,000 euros a year, and that's the gold mine. That's the gold mine we are talking about. Meanwhile, those spots are not marketed. Every single day, we have more than 380,000 annoyed commuters coming daily to Barcelona, spending more than 10 minutes looking for parking and paying fortunes to park. And we had 1,800 spots free. So the best way to unblock this value is to convert those parking spots into smart parking spots. And that's what we get. For the owner, Núñez Navarro, very simple. We drop his marketing cost from 300,000 euros to 0. They don't have to do anything. We can double the revenues they produce on each spot. And the most funny thing, they don't have to invest any money, they don't have to pay any fee. And it's a marketplace, so what do we do for the drivers? It's even easier. They just stop looking for a parking spot, and they park 50% cheaper than any other service in town. It looks like magic, isn't it? But it's not magic, it's just technology. Our IoT sensors and Easy Pass access system, RFID, is tracking not only who comes in and who comes out, also where do they park. And that real-time control of that facility allows us to do something that nobody else can do. We can market those spots in a minute basis. So you remember Juan, isn't it? Now his life is by far easier. marketing free parking spot is just one click away from any connected device. And he can control the performance of those spots very easily from any part on the world. I'm sure you may think, okay, this is not just a problem from Barcelona, and it isn't. Only in the main European cities, we have more than 2.8 million of free parking spots with a market value of 400 million euros. And in the main American cities, North and South, we have more than 35 million free spots in the main cities with a market value bigger than $3,000 million. We are here to unblock that value. And we are doing it very great. We have connected more than 3,000 spots with more than 95,000 users. We have managed more than 450,000 services. And we unblock more than 1.9 million euros. We manage every day more than 750 parking services, and our users, they save more than 2 million euros in parking thanks to our service. We are backed by very great investors, Repsol, an oil company, B4Motion, and MetaProp, and we are working with the Spanish key leaders on real estate market. Also, hotels, also like NH Hotels, property developers like Núñez Navarro, and real estate investment trusts. And here is what they think about us. Of course, all this is coming after 4 years of hard work, and thanks to an amazing team of 7 people. Roger and Sergi, my co-founders, they had been developing technology for the most disruptive startups in Barcelona. And we complete our team with the best guys ever. Alberto, 10 years of experience in real estate. Victor, that had been developing apps for the last 5 years. Jordi, that moved from Balearian Islands to join our team and be our marketing digital expert. And Loli, who is beloved by our users, attending their needs. And today, I'm really happy to announce this. December 2017, we launched our service Santiago de Chile. We unblocked more than 450 spots there, and we have more than 1,700 happy drivers already. 2018, our goal is to run our service in the main 6 South American cities. WeSmartPark has made with love in Barcelona to help people all around the world to park cheaper, and we could not wait to share with you New Yorkers. And remember, gold is below your feet. Thank you.